Part of self care is being warm enough and comfortable in our body. So take a moment to do that. And then notice, what does that mean to you? What does self care mean to you? One of the big frustrations that we have, a lot of us, around self care is that it seems to not be possible or not be within our reach when we really need it. So we often will practice pretty good self care if things are going not too bad. We try to eat well and get enough sleep and work with our mind and get out in nature and talk to people and connect and all of those things that involve self care. And then when things get really stressed and we're having some kind of struggle, then most of us will go back to whatever coping mechanisms we developed earlier or through our lives. Part of that certainly is numbing out. It might involve some kind of addiction. Often it will involve not doing what we know would really help. So for me, I know that if I was to do a relaxation, I would feel calmer and more energized. If I do a Netflix binge instead of a relaxation, it doesn't really help all that much. It might take my mind off things or I get a bit of a break from it, but it's not anywhere near as helpful as a real rest. So let's do a practice of paying attention to what comes up for us when we're looking at self care. One wonderful thing that we have all done is that we've come to this practice. We've decided to do a practice of resting, and we've taken this time, allocated this time for ourselves. We've gotten ourselves settled. We're tuning into our body, our breath. Or more softening that we could do. I've never, literally never, started doing a practice of tuning in and finding that my body is completely relaxed. But even if we're fairly relaxed, let's go through the body anyway. And if we're quite tight and tense, then it's even more important. Notice what you feel like in your whole body, head to toes. Let your attention be drawn to the kind of obvious tightness or tension. It might be that your shoulders are up around your ears or that you're holding your breath. That you haven't really relaxed back into the support of the chair or the bed. Let yourself settle. Notice the big, obvious tension as you start. And just by bringing our awareness to something, some kind of tightness or kind of a jerkiness or short, shallow breath, generally speaking, our body will go, oh, okay. And then we relax. We take a deeper breath. And then as we breathe out, we let things go. Notice your body as you breathe. There's a natural softening as we breathe out. And notice what it feels like to take a few deep breaths. We can almost starve ourselves of oxygen when we breathe shallow all the time. Notice what it feels like to take an abundant amount of air into your lungs. And then have a longer, slower exhale. Let your body relax completely. Tune into your breath for a moment. Notice the pattern, the rhythm of your breath. And just relax the muscles of your stomach. That's all we really need to do to let the breath move deeper, become smoother. And then take a moment to work directly with the thoughts in the mind. Some of them might already have been taking your attention away from your body and your breath. Bring your attention to the back of your head as though you're looking from the back towards your thoughts. And as we're watching or observing our thoughts, we'll notice that some of them have a lot of attention grabbing capability, others are kind of quieter. I'm just watching thoughts for a while. What's going on in your thought stream? We're resting with our body relaxed. We're noticing our breath. And now we're watching the thoughts that are coming and going in the mind. And in particular, today, we're looking into self care. We all have, I don't know if it's exactly a plan, but we all have some commitments that we make towards good self care. Might be the way we eat, move our bodies, sleep, kinds of things we put into our mind. Maybe we don't watch violent movies because we notice it upsets us. We have people that we like to connect with. We might have creative things that we do. We all have a number of things that we do that help to take care of ourselves. We practice being kind to ourselves, perhaps, if we have a lot of negative thinking. And we're here. We're doing a practice of resting and relaxation. And in particular, today, we're noticing what is it that gets in the way of doing a practice like this when we need to relax rather than getting into Netflix or gossiping or shopping or whatever it might be that we do instead. And as with any inquiry, mindfulness inquiry, we're just looking to see what comes up. So let's try a few sentences and just notice what your reaction is. It might come up as thoughts, words and pictures that might come up as energy or feelings, sensations in your body? I'm 100% committed to my good self care, to being kind, to practicing good self care. This is a reverse inquiry. We don't need to mean that, but it's good to see if there's any kind of protest in your mind. What is in the way of being 100% committed to good self care if you're not? What comes up when you hear those words or consider them? Notice your body, your breath. You could also use that as an affirmation. I am 100% committed to good self care. Really feel that positive intention in your body, your mind. What gets in the way of practicing good self care sometimes is stay kind of connected with your body and breath and see what comes forward. If there's a bunch of things, you could put them up like they're on a big poster board or whiteboard in front of you, kind of in your mental image, or you could just look at one after the other. These are some examples of when something gets in the way of good self care. What is that exactly? I'm looking to see when I don't practice 100% good self care, when I let myself do something that's not as positive instead. This is why. And then really focus in on one example or one sentence, one phrase. An example might be it's 10 or 11 at night and you're watching Netflix and that little thing comes up, says new episode starting in 4, 3, 2, and you don't click off. You stay and watch another one. So then feel into what's going on in your body at that time. Notice if you're being patient and kind. Even if we're kind of frustrated with what we do, it still never helps to condemn ourselves. Let's give this a bit of space. What's going on underground, underneath, when you're doing something like that, when you're not really taking care of yourself? And if there's an energy there, you could feel into that, focus on that for a bit. Notice the qualities of the energy, if it's tight or hot, moving or still. Where is it exactly? What's the location? You can also tune into the space all around the outside of the energy. No energy is infinite. It always has a beginning and ending in time and in our body in the location. So, what is the energy around this? And can you put your attention directly into that energy? What's really going on? What might it have to say, that energy? Keep noticing your breath, that we're doing a mindfulness practice. We're observing. And then work with something like, I'm willing to practice better self care. I'm willing to turn off the screen and have a hot bath, or I'm willing to, whatever it might be for you, something that you know would really help that you feel a bit frozen around or that you don't do. And bring it to mind in a really vivid way. Imagine yourself, look at the words, and then imagine yourself doing it. What it feels like to relax into bed with a hot water bottle instead of staying up, or to go out for a walk, or to eat a healthy meal. Let yourself really feel into that. Let the video clips run in your mind. Notice how it feels in your body. What are the sounds, the images, the aromas, the textures? Let it really come to life. I am willing to do this. And then come back to looking at any resistance that might be here. Resistance is some form of freeze or flight, fight, usually. Maybe there's a discomfort around being quiet and being present with ourselves because of something that's coming up that we're trying to avoid. And that can be long term, an edginess or discomfort about something. And then we find a way to mitigate that somehow. So maybe we feel lonely in the evenings, so we watch a lot more TV than we would normally, or we go out to the bar, or whatever it might be. So, what is it that keeps that pattern going? Maintaining so much kindness for ourselves, even though we might be frustrated with a pattern that we're eating sugar instead of doing something else that would be kinder for our body. Stay connected with your body, your breath, your willingness to be kind and to do the right thing. And bring to mind something that might be encouraging or helpful the next time that happens, if you're kind of sitting there not going to bed or whatever it might be for you. Bring that to mind and what might be encouraging or helpful for you to remember at that time. For me, sometimes I remind myself that I don't want to feel tired all day the next day. It helps me go to bed very sweetly. What would help? And notice if you're setting some kind of standard for yourself that's impossible. Is there a good enough self care that you could work with instead of making a vow to never eat chocolate or sugar for the rest of your life like I used to do? Could you make an intention to eat healthy more of the time? Something that's not so harsh, something that you could actually do, that you could feel good about that. Notice the thoughts that are coming, going in your mind, the energy in your body. And then notice I want to do good self care. I want to take care of myself because why do you want to take care of yourself? Feel that in the body too. Some of it might be fear, and there's also a positive emotion or desire as well. It's not just that we don't want our body to fall apart or something. What does your heart know about this? You can put your hand on your heart if you want. Why do you want to take care of yourself? And then let the inquiry go. Just rest for a moment. Notice your body, your breath. Notice what's been coming and going. And there might be something that you'd like to follow up on. There might have been lots of activity in one of those sentences. It'd be good to spend a bit more time with that later. And then when you're ready, open your eyes.